What happens when I flip this car held together by the world's first roll cage held... Dang it.
You're gotta be kidding me. You're rolling these things down a mountain. That's insane.
I thought it would be a legitimate test.
I didn't think it'd work. I said, all right, yeah, pay me to build you a cage, wrap your stuff around it, and we'll see how it does.
Working with the Harmon Brothers has been an incredibly refreshing experience. We've worked with agencies that didn't even know exactly what FiberFix did. And the Harmon Brothers were out wrapping it on bars, driving trucks up on it.
The goal of Harmon Brothers is to make content that's as good as anything else that's on YouTube, but then it gets you to buy something at the very end.
And you can only wear shorts because your calves are too big for pants.
Just throwing around different ideas on how to demonstrate an extreme example of FiberFix working.
Let's build a roll cage on a Jeep and go rock crawling and tip this thing over down in Moab.
It would be really cool to have a roll cage that was made of PVC pipe and FiberFix.
We hired a mechanical engineer to tell us whether or not this was even possible. He came back to us and he said, just too many assumptions, too many guesses. I'm not willing to give you my analysis on this. We decided, well, I guess we just have to start testing. So we bought some PVC pipe, we wrapped it up in different thicknesses of FiberFix, we smashed it, we put it in a press, we bent it. Even though FiberFix is a really rigid tape, it also has a lot of flexible properties about it. So these long pipes would flex too much for a roll cage.
I was like, well, why don't we just make an actual roll cage, but then instead of doing welds, we do FiberFix around the joints.
Dang it.
Right out here in this parking lot, actually, they drove Benton's big truck onto this fiber-fixed joint. The metal was bending before the FiberFix even flinched. It was then I was like, okay, yeah, this roll cage thing is totally gonna work.
They randomly said, yeah, you can use it for tent poles. I was like, wait, I've got a tent I haven't used at home for over a year because the tent pole's been broken. I went home, wrapped the tent pole good as new. I've broken tomato cages. Pretty much anything you can wrap, you can FiberFix.
It's called FiberFix. Not fiber temporary bonehead application for losers.
Turns out that the perfect hill setup is really difficult to find. You need a flat spot at the top, you need a flat area at the bottom, you need a nice long steep hill, and you need a road up to the top so that vehicles can access it. We searched for 5 weeks straight, and finally we found this abandoned rock quarry at the southern tip of Utah Lake. It turned out to be the perfect location.
Manliness.
Our initial thought was, let's make this thing remote control driven. And the plan was to use a push vehicle to get the car rolling, but one, we couldn't get the car going fast enough, and two, we couldn't control it well enough. We had to come up with a plan B. The new plan was to park the car sideways at the top of the hill and use airbags to push it over the edge. We gave it a test. It worked great. Flipped the car over, but the airbags was actually distracting from the message. That's where the roundies came in. The roundies have done special effects for many high-profile Hollywood movies, including Backdraft and Die Hard. They set up a pipe track and a pipe ramp for that car to run in, and then a pulley system to pull the car down the track and off the edge.
Hi, Plumber.
Oh, ladies, please. There's plenty of puppy to go around.
So at Harmon Brothers, we try to make ads that take everything good from infomercials while leaving out everything that made infomercials crappy, and then to just make them wildly entertaining.
Your calves are so big they should be... I use my head.
Matt's original vision for the character was always to have someone that was kind of a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit of a hick, if you will.
A little bit of a stereotypical, man's man. I'm tough and I'm brawny. But then we also wanted to surprise people with how intelligent he was, or how surprising he was with the things that he was saying for humor purposes.
He has a level of sophistication with him. I mean, business kind of person.
We really wanted something that just kind of would represent how tough FiberFix is, because it's very tough, and certainly Jason's character, I think, does that. That made my job really easy because Jason's really great, and he doesn't require a whole lot of direction.
I feel definitely that was probably the most manly thing I've ever done.
Duct tape is this all-American thing that everyone has in their toolbox, and you use it to fix almost anything. And FiberFix is much the same way. It's just a heck of a lot stronger.
They both claim to fix everything, so that's kind of where it becomes fair.
FiberFix. One roll, one plug.
Of course, safety was the first concern, so we removed the drivetrain from the vehicles. That's the engine and transmission, the glass, and the fuel tank. We primed and sealed, painted, and cleared the vehicles so that they looked like new vehicles or usable, drivable vehicles.
From the first one we did, the test one, now doing the final ones, it's evolved. We're making it better and better. Okay, if this thing's tumbling, what's the best way to make this cage strong?
There are 8 connection points coming out from the bottom of the car that the entire roll cage is built on.
That's what the FiberFix and the duct tape cage is hooked to.
From that point up, he just tack welded each joint together. That means it just got one little speck of weld on it.
Just one tiny part of the joint was welded together to simply hold it in place until we could tape it. And we wanted to make sure that the commercial was focusing on just the tape itself. So one joint at a time, we would actually ground off those little spot welds and then tape the joint completely before moving on to the next joint. Nothing was holding the pipes together. We actually used twice as much duct tape as we did FiberFix. So the T-joints had 40 yards of duct tape or 20 yards of FiberFix. The cross joints had 50 yards of duct tape or 25 yards of FiberFix per joint. We wanted to make sure that we were really fair to both of the products.
I really believe in FiberFix because it has really helped me to fix a bunch of things around my yard that I couldn't fix with anything else. It fixes things that other products simply can't.
Here's the thing.
Dang it.
What makes shooting for the Harmons interesting is clarity and message is always what's most important. We made sure that it was clear what was happening, why it was happening, and that it felt authentic. So when you have an expensive stunt like rolling a car off a hill, obviously you have to cover it from a lot of angles. And we had GoPros hidden everywhere. We had a camera on a crane that could follow it off. We had a drone.
A couple of cameras down below on a lens like this big that was, expensive. It's amazing how many departments had to come together in order to pull off just this one stunt.
I think we had about 40 crew members on set that day.
It really felt like we were on a Hollywood production.
When these cars came down the side of that hill, the yellow ones looked Hollywood roll down the mountainside. Roll cage came apart in multiple pieces, roof crushed, doors flinging open, dummies flying out.
Oh, this whole thing?
Yeah.
I just carry him around with me.
So I honestly didn't think the FiberFix roll cage was going to hold up. I thought it was going to collapse just like the duct tape.
I checked with Theron and with Benton 5 or 6 times and said, are you guys sure?
Can you really launch it off the side of a mountain at 25 miles an hour and it withstand the impact of that first hit?
Theron, I said, this is a really steep hill.
This is going to be a fiasco. You're going to have 4 smashed up cars.
There's no way this car is going to survive.
When it landed right side up and was still completely intact, Matt and I were so excited. We just turned to each other, gave each other a huge high five, and we're just like, oh my gosh, it worked.
Even now, when I look at the footage, I'm shocked.
Woo! That was awesome.
Seeing the cage after it rolled, FiberFix was perfect.
I rushed up to see where the joints would be loosened, and I was shocked to find out these joints did not loosen whatsoever.
If it does that with a car roll cage, yeah, you better believe it does it with a hammer, it does it with a shovel.
There is literally no other repair tape that even matches FiberFix. It's the best thing there is.
I think we'll know that this ad was a success if we see FiberFix dethrone duct tape as the tape of choice when it comes to repairs.
I'm absolutely astounded by this product. I want it on every shelf in America. I can see this becoming a household name like a Band-Aid, a Velcro, or duct tape.
It's an amazing product that I think kind of sells itself. We just need to help people know that it exists.
What happens when you flip a car with a roll cage held together by duct tape? That was a dummy. I'd never get in that car. It's held together by duct tape.